Hey friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thanks for joining in. So today is an introductory video where I'll be sharing some of the tips and tricks or the guidance based on my experience and observations. So this guide is for someone who is joining the IT industry for the first time as a fresher. So I hope I'll be able to make some sense out of these slide decks. So I prepared a small material with some points and we'll be going through that. So let's move on to the next slide. So as a first step, you can start with practicing OOPS concepts with the practical implementations in any one of the language which you feel comfortable with. And then you can learn more details about that language on the syntax, asynchronous programming, etc. in any of the language, be it Java, be it C#, doesn't matter. Now next point is about focusing and making notes of technology keywords. Why I say this? Because as a fresher you might not be knowing all the technology keywords or terms or the libraries which are being referred to. So you can just make notes of that, and this will kind of prepare a list for you at the end of the day which you can refer, and then once you are at home you can learn about that. Now next point is about my observation. Based on my observation, that being a fresher, we tend to go into the technicality part as a first step. So when the problem is given to us, we right away jump into the technical part of it, which is not right. We need to first think through the functional behavior and understand the use cases, and then once you're very clear with the requirements and the business flow, then probably you can jump into the solutioning part of it, whether that you will be using XYZ technology to solve it, or how you are going to write code about it. So this is very important point as per my observation. Now make a habit of asking questions, as many as you can, as there is no question which is silly. So when you ask questions, people will think that at least you are curious to know about the system, about the technology, about the flow, right? So this will kind of build a credibility for you. Okay, moving on to the next point. I always say that keep throwing your ideas, whatever you think based on your experience, and do not think about that whether this idea will be accepted by the team or not, as this is not your problem, right? You keep throwing your ideas, and at the end of the day, by doing this you will expand your knowledge by doing some cross questioning, right, and doing reverse mentoring. Now learn at least something outside day-to-day office work to get yourself aligned with the pace on which the technology is moving. Because if you get stuck with what is being done at office, or what technology is just being used at office, if you just learn that, it's not going to help you in the longer term, right? And it will not make you a better developer. So try to learn something at least outside of office work. Be proactive, and this is a must trait to succeed in the IT industry, because when you are proactive, people will observe you that you are coming on your own, and you are trying to understand things, and you are communicating just enough, right? Now when a problem is given, I would say that do not right away jump into the coding, as that's very common approach which people take, that they start writing code. Instead, try to understand the requirement from the business analyst or PBIs or your tasks, and then think through the end scenarios, that how I'm going to solve this problem, what will be the impact if I make a change here, how I'm going to test it. So you always need to think about the testability part of it, and then also note down the dependencies, jot down the steps, how you're going to approach that problem in these 3 steps, right? And then start writing the code, because writing code is just a matter of 5-10 minutes at times, but it takes time to think through all the functional behaviors, all the use cases, right? So always try to at least think of solving a problem with multiple approaches, provide multiple solutions to one problem, and then you just see what is best and then implement that. This will expand your knowledge to a lot extent. Moving on to the next point. Yeah, so I would also say that focus on achieving the end goal first, be it your program output. When you are learning some programming language, right, you will be solving some puzzles or some of the loop questions. So just focus on the program output or working functionality. Do not think about beautifying your code from the initial phase, because what we do is we tend to make our code perfect from beginning, which is not right. Once you have achieved your logic, once your end goal is achieved, whatever you are supposed to achieve from that code, then start focusing on beautifying your code, making the variable names correct, etc. Right? Prepare and showcase quick demos to demonstrate an understanding about a particular topic, as this will give you a hand-on experience. Because when you prepare demos, it might be that you will not be using that technology or that service in your code, but at least you will have a hands-on experience because you have shown a demo, you have created a demo or some of the working model, right? Understand the domain of the project and end-to-end functionality if you want to be a better developer, because it is very much needed, right? Because when you understand end-to-end functionality, whatever errors come through or whatever the failures come, you will be able to easily identify like from which part of the project this can arise, right? Which will considerably reduce the fix time, right? I would say that write enough logging in your code, which will help you in identifying runtime issues, and believe me, it saves you a lot of time. A lot of your investigation time is saved, and you will be able to provide much quicker, the fixes will be much quicker from your side. So which is very, very important for the production critical applications or the business critical applications. Yeah, when you work on improving your debugging skills, then you will be able to understand the system a lot better, right? Because you will be knowing like what is going on across the files, across the application, across the components, right? So your debugging skills are very, very important here. Next slide. So the first point on the slide is about learning errors, right? It sounds so easy, but actually it is not, to read through the errors. Often I see people that they just see the error and then they start copy pasting that into Stack Overflow or on the web, and they start searching through the results, right? Do not do this. Instead, try to understand from which part of the application the error is coming from, and then you can spend some time with the errors, right? And then you can see like, okay, what is the call stack, what's the exception message is trying to say, etc. I know that most of the times the front-end errors are not always very clear, but most of the times they make sense. And then before going for the presentations or meetings, always do your homework and make yourself prepared with the discussion agenda or what is the discussion points, so that you can ask better questions there and you can contribute more, right? Make sure that you follow good software development practices like writing unit tests along with the code, and learn some design principles and software coding patterns, so that you write a better code, right? Now when you have written the code and you are ready for the review, just before going for the review with your peers or within the team meetings, just do a self review of your code, so that you can avoid some minor mistakes like comma, spacing, naming conventions, as these are very, very minor mistakes which we often do, right? So it will save others time also, right? To not, so that don't have to go through unnecessary comments and all those things. I know that most people say that learn the latest language which is there in the market, or which is most widely used. But I would say that no language is bad. Whatever you feel comfortable with, pick a language and start. So, and then once you are comfortable with your language, maybe if you want to learn some other language, or if some other language excites you, you can go there and learn that. It's not rocket science, right? So start with any language which you like, where you like the syntax, where you feel like it's easy for me, and then slowly you can build your skill set on any other languages as well. Now I'll pin a very small video on learning the language from Scott Hanselman in the description below, so you can go and check that out. I hope I was able to add some sense through these slides, and I hope that they'll be beneficial for you.